Hello everyone, welcome you all for this episode of Startup Story series. My name is Guna, I'm a startup coach and the author of the book Startup Recipe. In this episode, we have a special person who's a serial entrepreneur who's into multiple businesses currently and he is going to share a lot of insight with us. Just to give a quick background about him, he finished his engineering and he entered into food industry as a managing director of Arasan Group of companies. Right now, in this group, there are a lot of companies. He is owning a school where 2,500 children are educated. He is running an organization called Business Network International in Tirunelveli, where he is helping 200 plus entrepreneurs to enhance their and develop their business. He is also highly involved in construction industry for many years, and also is having a rich experience in supermarket industry, which is spreading across internal right now. So from all these perception, currently running so many businesses, he is going to give a lot of opportunities, a lot of insights for us today. So let me welcome Mr. Mohammad Riaz of Arasan Group of Companies to this episode of Startups series.
A very good morning, everyone, especially those startups who are listening to Guna's series. And thank you so much, Guna, for roping me in here today for this particular series. I've been knowing Guna for the past couple of years, more than that, since we got associated in BNI. And I'm looking forward to a wonderful experience along with you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. I know during lockdown your schedule is completely packed because of so many online things and all the businesses, but still you made some time to share some insights which will help aspiring entrepreneurs who are watching this show. Thank you very much for coming this show. So the first thing with which we want to start with is how did you become an entrepreneur? When you decided to become an entrepreneur, how it happened? That's what we first wanted to know. This is what I just generally ask any interview which I do because for a lot of people who want to transform from a non-entrepreneurship to entrepreneurship, it is taking a lot of time, a lot of fear, a lot of hesitation, etc. So when we if people like you share, it will really help them. So I want you to start with that.
Sure, why not? See, normally an entrepreneur's journey starts with first getting a job and then getting some experience in the job, and then later part, maybe he's not satisfied with the 9 to 9 life. He is bored, getting bored with the rat race, and then going to the entrepreneurial career. In my case, it is a blessing that my grandfather was already into a business, and there was an accident in my family. When you ask a celebrity, they will say that, okay, if you are not become an actor, then what would have been your career like? I would have become a doctor. I would have become an engineer, something like that. So basically, I was an engineer. I am an engineer till now, and I got a job in Lawson and Tobro immediately after completing my engineering education. But suddenly, an accident happened in my own family. A very close relative, my maternal uncle, passed away in a road accident. He has been looking after the Arasan group of companies with my grandfather. He was the founder. My grandfather was the founder. So my grandfather didn't have anybody to help, and my uncle had two kids. Both of them were minors. So I had to rope into the business, Arasan group of companies, to help my grandfather because he was already crossing 65, 66 years, and there wasn't anybody in the family to help him. So he called me, suddenly asked permission from with my father. He said, okay. Then that is how my career started with my grandfather. My grandfather was a businessman, very, 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 very popular businessman in this part of the world, especially in Tirunelveli. Everyone knows him. The entire family is known to the people of Tirunelveli, and that's how I started my business under my grandfather.
Super, super. Generally, I have a lot of entrepreneur friends. They always tell me that I am involved in my father's business. There is always some gap with the vision or with ideas, with planning, with systems. There is always a gap, but we somehow manage to coordinate and then we'll proceed in our business. This is what I generally hear from many entrepreneurs and few who don't get into their father's business because their idea is totally different, but you're associating with two generations, that is like your with grandfather you want to associate and without any work experience, without any business experience. So that is how you got into that. Can you share few experience what happened initially once you joined the company, how you managed, how was the gap between you and the grandfather?
Correct. So you are exactly right. Even when even between me and my father, we have a lot of difference of opinions
Okay.
till this day.
Okay.
I'm living with my father. I'm living with my father. So me and my father, we have difference of opinion over Modi, over over politics, over cinema, over biryani that we have. We have we don't have we don't have a similar opinion. In most of the times, we have difference of opinions. So let's see. When it comes to my grandfather and me, there is, as you said, there is a double generation gap.
Yes. Yes.
So first, what I did actually, I went into a learning phase because I was a fresher. I just completed my engineering, 1993 to 97, and then in 97, immediately after my exams, my uncle passed away in the road accident. So what happened is already I had some ideas in my mind, to start business. Even during the college days, what I used to do is, along with my friends, we used to buy some fabrics from the leading garment places in Tirunelveli and in Chennai. What we used to do is we used to stitch shirts in different sizes, 39, 42, 40, and 44. And we used to sell this to our own classmates and college mates back in 1997 at Shivagasi.
Your entrepreneurship journey started from college days.
It started during my college days. Even before that, when we were actually children, there used to be a calendar-like kind of a thing where there will be some small tokens in the bottom, and there will be prices pasted in the top. So people have to open the token, which is hidden, and the prices are hidden inside with the numbers. So
I've
what
done.
we used to, me and my friend, my friend is still with me, right? He is the general manager of my company now. Both of us used to buy these calendars, and then we used to go to places. We used to go to the neighborhood, and we used to call those kids, and they will actually rip those off, and they will say, okay, I got it, and something like that. It goes interesting. We used to do this during our quarterly holidays, half yearly holidays, and as well as our annual holidays. And maybe it is in my DNA through my grandfather, right?
So the
So
calendar
it
which you
was in my
told me,
mind.
just reminding me about something where I was a very big Shaktiman fan in my childhood days. And there was the calendars type which you are mentioning, no, full of Shaktiman calendars will be there, where you have to pick a chip, there will be number, and that sticker will be given to you. I used to
Correct.
just help my neighboring grocery store. One person is there. So I will help him for 2 hours. He will help me take one chit free of cost without paying anything. So I will use that, and then I will come back with a sticker every single day. And a lot of my even now that the whole bureaus and all having that sticker. So your journey started with creating something and selling those days, and
Yes.
it started from school days then. Wow,
To find
amazing.
the opportunity, to find the opportunity. When I was in the college, all my classmates, they didn't have the opportunity to select different colorful shirts. And back then, in those days, the main the power of one is to get dressed up well, especially when you are in a co-education, right? So that made our life easy for me and my friend. My friend is in Kovilpati now. So that is how actually it started. And then, as I said, I started with the learning phase when I was under my grandfather, because I was a fresher to business, and he was actually into business more than 25 years. No, he served for the Indian military during independence. He had an experience of 16 to 17 years in the military, in the Indian military. So the one thing that I learned first from him is punctuality, which is very, very important for any entrepreneur, to keep the time, to consider time as priceless. So this is one takeaway for all those startups out there. So anyway, I'll be giving a lot of takeaways in the later part of this particular interview. But
Yes,
this one, I learned a lot from my grandfather. Another thing that I learned was he lost his son, his only son, and he had actually three daughters. My mom passed away, and there were two other daughters. So he didn't have his son, and the children are, one boy is actually 4 years old, and another one is 7 years old. So the grandfather is 65 years old, and no one is there to help him. And there is a huge business kingdom under him. So he had the grit to go to the shop the very next day after the demise of my uncle, because he has to be there to show his team that I am okay, and we have to run this company like we ran the company a couple of days ago. So there was only 2 days holiday, the day on which my uncle passed away, and the second is the day on which he was buried. Right? These are the only 2 days. The third day, the shop was open. And my grandfather came to the shop. Everyone was taken aback, and everyone was shocked to see this. So that is one learning that I got. Irrespective of the ups and downs in your business, you have to be there. You have to be there for your team to see that, okay, my boss is here. So I will be there for my boss, for my business, and for my company to thrive. So now we are in the survival mode. For example, now this video is being shot during the crisis time. Every business is shut down. We are in the surviving mode. But one day we have to go to the thriving mode. And my grandfather was in the thriving mode 3 days immediately after his only son's accident. And that is what I learned from him. And then definitely there were a lot of difference of opinion between me and him. So I used to suggest that let us expand our business. We had only one shop in Junction. We have a place nearer to the railway station and bus stand of Tirunelveli city. So we wanted to expand nearer to the residential community where we were actually living. So there was a huge potential for us in this particular area, in this particular neighborhood. So my grandfather said, if we start a branch, we need to look after that branch. There has to be a manager, and we have to look out for the manager, best manager. He shouldn't actually misuse the funds, and we have to recruit a lot of people. Logistics problems are there. So the best solution is we have small kids, right? So they are minors. It is out of their interest. Let me have a huge lot of money for their future in the bank. Let it stay in the bank, and we are not going to expand. And I tried to convince year on year for 6 years. 6 years I was trying to convince him, but I couldn't. So what I thought is, okay, when we are working under someone, when we are under a superior, one thing we have to learn. All of you, just open your eyes and ears and listen to this. Patience is the key. Persistence is the key. The time will come, the fruit will get ripened one day, then you can actually go on to perform as per your wish, right? So till then, you have to build up the ramp for yourself with patience and persistence. Go to the ramp, and once you get the chance, you can fly from there. And that is how it all happened. My grandfather had a diabetic ailment. He passed away in 2003, and from 2004 it all started. We had an expansion spree. We went to Nagarkoil. We opened a couple of branches there. We went to Tuticorin. We opened a couple of branches there, and we opened our biggest bakery showroom in Tirunelveli. We opened even two of its kind in Tirunelveli, one in the south and another one in the north. And we opened close to about nine branches after the demise of my grandfather in a span of 5 to 8 years.
Okay, so
Is all
it's good to know that you were patient enough to what you wanted to do instead of conflicting with him or telling him like, no, we have to do now. There was no, like you were just taking his words and you were waiting for the right time to expand.
Correct.
So that was a great lesson for people who are doing business, who want to start business with partners or with family members. Maybe this is a super takeaway which they can get. And without any work experience or business experience, you got into Arasan group of companies. So initially, you would have done some mistakes. Like any person who gets into entrepreneurship, quite do some mistakes and many more mistakes. Then only we can learn. That's a way of learning. So can you just mention few mistakes which you did, which others should avoid, so that it will be like when they start, because business is all about investing a lot of money, energy, and time. So each mistake we avoid, each mistake we reduce, it is going to save a lot of money. So your mistake journey also can definitely help others. So I just wanted to know about it.
Yeah, definitely. Why not? So if you take any entrepreneur, any successful entrepreneur, they have actually built their kingdom only through mistakes. The only thing is they don't repeat the mistakes, or they don't often fall into as a prey for the same mistakes again and again and again. So similarly, I have done a lot of mistakes. For example, choosing the a wrong location for a particular bakery or a restaurant. We have closed some. So I can give you an example. We opened one of the biggest restaurant of its sort in Tirunelveli. The name was Arasan Biryani Darbar. So it was opened in the bypass shop near RMKV. You know RMKV, it is a big brand, right? So people, whenever they come for shopping for RMKV, they used to dine with us. And opposite to that, another major garment player is coming, which is Chennai Silks. And opposite to that, GRD is coming.
Wow.
So the only thing we did not It's yeah, we are in the hard place, So we started, and we were doing phenomenally well during during the first 3 months. During the first 3 months, we were doing excellently well, outpowering with all the competitors across Tirunelveli. We were the number one then. So people were actually, a lot of customers were pouring in, and we were not able to serve them.
Okay.
We had such a crowd. The mistake we did was, we didn't know that there is a bridge coming on. There was a overbridge coming on.
Oh.
So when the work for the overbridge started in month number 4 after we started this particular restaurant, everything went upside down. Right, we had to close that particular restaurant, which was actually the number one restaurant in Tirunelveli. But we had to close that particular restaurant in close to about 9 months from the day we started. So that is a mistake that we learned. So we need to do some homework when it comes to selecting the location. So similarly,
Say
one
whether
of the
any big government projects are going to come here. Is there any disturbance
yeah,
here
we
in the
need to,
first
we need
year?
to definitely we need to be aware of that. We need to be um, we need to do some kind of a research before doing all these things. Maybe an RTI will help you, right? So one major mistake, I'll say, even now I may be doing it, right? So when I started my business career under my grandfather, it was already a well established business kingdom. It was all a lot of businesses there. BD is there, Tailors is there, bakery is there, sweets are there, and then ice cream shop is there. Then the bricks is there. So a lot of businesses are there under my grandfather, which is the Arasan group of companies.
Okay.
So every department was delegated to a particular manager, and the manager takes care of the day-to-day operations and everything. So since I learned this particular concept, that is the delegating kind of a leadership from my grandfather, I started embracing it, and I practiced that also. So even when I started my own Kings group of companies, what I did was, for every department there was a manager, there was a leader with whom I actually delegate. I still monitor, but I delegate. So while delegation, some things can go wrong if you're not monitoring on a day-to-day basis, or maybe in a weekly basis. So mismanagements of fund may happen, or maybe he may be thinking of a competitive branch like the same. He gained experience from us, and then mismanagement of funds both together will definitely allow anyone to start a competitive parallel branch, and that has happened over a couple of times for me. And in Tamil, there is a saying, no, there is a proverb, "Veluthadallam paal alla," but all those things that are white is not milk. So my father used to say that. Even my wife used to say that you are believing everyone, you are blindly believing everyone. Until this date, I believe everyone. So I cannot run a life with skepticism going in my mind. I believe, okay, if someone says that, okay, this is good, this person is good, okay, this person is good, let me have a good relationship with him. That is how it will all start. But this is the main mistake I did in my business, through which I might have lost some um, couple of huge I mean, like, what do you say, uh, I learned a lot of lessons through that. And nowadays I have added a little bit of skepticism to my way of thinking as well.
Okay, okay.
One major mistake that I did, that I feel that I'm still doing, which I have to work on it.
Let me ask you one specific question with related to what you just said, because people who heard are mostly aspiring entrepreneurs. They should not think I should not delegate it. So I want you to just explain whether they should delegate or not, how they should do.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't delegate. You should delegate, right? You should delegate. Yeah, as an entrepreneur, especially if you see at my background, these are all my brands. You cannot, you cannot manage all these branches or all these different departments. Each department has different branches, right? So you cannot manage all these things without delegating it to the leaders or the managers whom you actually believe, right? So it is like maybe 99% belief plus 1% skepticism, right? Always, see, I won't say skepticism. It is a tough word, right? Always monitor. Always try to monitor. It is not like there are a lot of leadership styles, right? For example, something is like telling, something is like selling, some is like empowering, and like even abdicating. I'm not saying that you can actually follow the leadership style of delegating things. So even to this date, I'm still delegating. I have a couple of supermarkets in Tirunelveli, and today they are opening the supermarkets from 6 to around 1 p.m. Even during lockdown, we are allowed to open, and we are allowed to deliver goods to the people through home delivery. But for the past 35 days, I'm inside my house. I haven't walked out of my house. So my leaders, they are actually opening the shop. They are actually closing the shop. They are taking care of the day-to-day operations. I have delegated. So things are fine. Things are fine. But I'm still monitoring. I'm having daily meetings with them. I'm having daily action plans shared by them, and I am following up on them. So monitoring has to be. It is like eagle's eye kind of view of your company. You shouldn't become a business operator, as my mentor, Mr. Murli Sundaram, used to say. You shouldn't become a business operator. You should always be a business owner. So to become a business owner, you need to delegate. So otherwise, you cannot expand. Otherwise, you cannot scale up.
Thank you for sharing that, because a lot of people start to become an entrepreneur, but they end up in being a small business owner just because self-employed, and stop just because they're not ready to delegate. What will happen? What
Correct.
will happen? That is. So your message,
Correct.
you told them, if you want to grow multiple brands or one brand into multiple branches, delegation is the key, and there may be some mistakes, but still we have to go with it. Correct.
Yeah, for the startups, I will just share one key point from the from a famous book by the famous author Robert Kiyosaki, which is called as the ESBI quadrant, where on the left side of the quadrant, the employed and the self-employed are there. The employed, what does he do? He goes to work at 9 and he comes back at 9. So it is a 9 to 9 work. So right. He goes to work, come back home, goes to work, come back home. That is a rat race. And what does the self-employed do? He does the same thing. He goes to his shop 9 o'clock, opens it, and then closes it at 9 o'clock. The same rat race. The only difference between the employed and the self-employed is the employed gets the salary, the self-employed doesn't get a salary. So we should be moving on to the right side of the quadrant, which is the B and I, which is the business owner, business, and as well as the investor. For example, if you think people like Warren Buffett, people like maybe Jack Ma, people like Richard Branson, they are on the right side of the quadrant, right? Even Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. So all these people, right? So you always start your career with the left side of the quadrant. It is E and yes, but you always have to uh, intending to move from the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant. That is possible only through delegating. That is possible only through delegating. Otherwise, life will be you will lose your life.
Thank you
You
for
won't have time for you won't have time for your wife. You won't have time for your parents. You won't have time for yourself and your kids, for your emotions, for your peaceful kind of a thing. No. So that is why we have seen a lot of rich people um, ending up their life, because of depression, and a lot of people having like cardiac arrest and all these stuff because they're not balancing it.
that. Thank you for sharing that, sir. That was the ESBI four quadrant is one of the key reason why I came to entrepreneurship. As a college
Wow.
student, I attended a session where they explained me in 2006. That is when I
Wow.
decided that I have to take a route of entrepreneurship. And from then on, I have trained thousands and thousands of people to start entrepreneurship journey. And I would have explained this four quadrant formula at least 1,000+ times so far, because as you said, it's a powerful formula by Robert Kiyosaki, and all startups should definitely read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. That will definitely help them to learn more about it and to start their journey. So
Correct.
now,
Even I,
yes, sir.
the
Yes,
first book that I read was the Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, suggested by my friend in Bangalore. So he suggested that book to me, and there started my book learning and book reading experience. So it was wonderful to read Robert Kiyosaki. It is like a fable, right? So it
let's
is like
take
a
this
fable.
opportunity to thank Robert Kiyosaki for also giving us
For
this
changing millions of lives. Yes, yes,
yes.
yes.
And when you entered into your business and you started managing multiple departments in these multiple companies, what was one key challenge you faced, or is there multiple challenges you had in that business? Can you talk a little about challenges? Because any aspiring entrepreneur is going to have a challenge when they start a business. They may
Correct.
know or they may not anticipate that something like this will happen. So, is there anything like that in your journey? Can you explain, please?
See, there are a lot of challenges for today's entrepreneurs. For example, if you ask any entrepreneur nowadays in this particular crisis of time, that is during the lockdown, if you ask any entrepreneur, you will say that losing the customer is the
You have
main
a long
challenge.
list.
Yeah, or maybe they will say that liquidity is a problem,
Correct.
or maybe there is a crash crunch, there is a shortfall in the working capital. So all these things, right? So for me, I didn't have any challenges until date. By the grace of Almighty, I don't have any challenge when it comes to the working capital because, excuse me, because I don't go for bank interest. So I run my business with my own fund, and we actually play around, we fiddle around, we take risks with our own funds. We don't depend on the external funding agency.
Okay.
Um, to fund our organization. So one thing I learned from my grandfather is uh, always play with your own funds.
Okay.
So that was one thing. So I didn't have that cash challenge or the cash crunch during my last 25 years of business experience. And as far as the time management is concerned, I learned a lot from my grandfather and my father as well. So my father was a professor, my grandfather was a military. So from both of them, I got the time management. I got the idea of time management, how you should actually value the time. The only thing till now I struggle is how to manage the people, how to manage the emotions of the people, so uh, yeah, especially when it comes to the HR, right? That is one challenge that I also told you, right? I believed a certain people
Correct.
take care of my business. They misused the funds, they
Correct.
misused the confidence that I had. uh, they were not honest enough. They started their business parallelly. So if you ask me whether they are shining well now, so I won't tell the answer. People can do the homework and look it for themselves, So that is one area that was a challenge for me. I think now I have a very very good team, wonderful team with me, who are God conscious, who are actually honest and very straightforward and very hardworking as well. I'm very fortunate to have such a wonderful team now. So
Super.
that is one challenge that I faced. That is managing people.
Thank you. Thank you. So managing people was, I think it is going to be an ongoing challenge forever because people change, the situation change, but you,
Yeah, especially in this situation, my brother-in-law, he is running a franchisee of MRF tire business in Coimbatore.
okay,
So he's also the senior DC of Coimbatore BNI.
okay,
So his name is Abu Tahir. I asked him whether he has opened the shop yesterday. He said yes, we are going to open the shop. He has got 3 shops in Coimbatore, 3 franchisee outlets in Coimbatore for MRF. So as you know, so in the tire shop, you need to fix the tires, you need to do the alignment, and you need to unload the truck, and you need to do a lot of blue collar job. You need all those heavy duty jobs are there. So you need some lot of people, no, a lot of labor is involved. So he called all these staff, and all his staff turned down and said, no, we cannot come because we are afraid. My wife is afraid. My wife is pregnant. I am afraid. My mother is afraid. And so there will be a huge problem even after lockdown when it comes to the human resources,
people
especially the job market.
okay. Super. Thank you for that. And with 25 years of experience in various industries, because each industry, the dynamics change, the marketing, the people management, everything is changed. But you're as a eagle eye view, you are having on all these businesses, you're getting a lot of experience from each of these. So, what are some suggestions or tips which you want to give for someone who want to start in any one of the industries which you are dealing in, or any other industry also? Is it going to be common, or specifically industry wise you can give one or two tips, or you can give like generally anybody who want to come into business, these are some things which you can keep in mind? So we want to know from you.
Since the startups will be from a lot of variety of industries, and I am also into variety of industries. If you say roti, kapada, makan, I am into all those industries, you know.
You are into
So
all the
I
basic
think,
needs.
yeah, yeah, all the basic needs, covering all the basic needs. I think you need to understand to get things right in your business. You remember the word right, RIGHT. I'm saying this out of my experience for the past 25 years in my business. You only see the tip of the iceberg. If you are seeing a lot of brands in these in my virtual background in the Zoom, so there are a lot of other brands which we did not do well. That was a huge failure. Uh, so what you are seeing only the tip of the iceberg, and there are plenty of things that are lying below the sea level, right? So when you actually have the right mindset, when you have the right mindset, and you have the right people, and you have the right system in place, definitely you will be successful, and you have the right vision as well. So when I say the vision, you remember the word right. The first the first letter R stands for, it is result oriented. You always have to be result oriented. So in order to measure your result, you need to have a goal. So always have a goal in place. You need to know where you are going. For example, we are having this webinar. If Guna asks me what is your vision, I can tell off the table, off the cuff, I can say easily, because my vision board is in front of me. So how many BNI members you want to have by the end of this year? 320. How many chapters you want to have? 8. So I can say, I can say like that. So similarly, you need to be very thorough of where you are actually getting yourself ahead in this journey, in this business journey, especially. So what is the goal that you are going to set? So you need to be results focused so that you achieve your goal. And the next one is the I, right? The I is for integrity. Integrity, and you have to be honest with everything. Even if no one is watching, you know, even if no one is watching, you have to accept the brutal truth. So unless otherwise, as being a leader, if you are not vulnerable, that okay, I don't know, maybe you can suggest. As a good leader, you can suggest, maybe you have got some market experience, you are actually looking care of my supermarket for the past 3 years. Okay, why don't you tell me the ideas? So you have to be vulnerable that, okay, I don't know this one. Okay, why don't you give some ideas? Then you can come to a conclusion. So be integral when you are actually communicating with your team, when you are pursuing your business. So second one is the integrity. Third one, G, is for guidance. So any business, you need guidance. For example, in my case, my grandfather was a huge guidance for me in my business life, right? I told you, I shared the story of my grandfather. And so you need to have a guide, you need to have a mentor for yourself. You need to have, till now I have a mentor for every department. As Guna was asking for some examples, I can say, right, for BNI, which is for the referral networking organizations, in which we have over 200 entrepreneurs, through which we actually grow our business through referrals. I have a mentor. For example, when it comes to training, I have a mentor, Mr. Murli. When it comes to the support, I have a mentor, Mr. Santosh, Mr. Nazar, Mr. Ilango. Everyone, they are mentoring them. They are mentoring us, right, in this business. When it comes to the construction industry, there are market leaders out here. One Mr. Jude is here. A lot of people are here. They are the market leaders. So I used to get a lot of ideas from them. There is one engineer whose name is Engineer Syed Ahmed. He has got projects running across Tamil Nadu. Across Tamil Nadu. So every now and then, if I have a technical doubt or if I have a government compliance doubt regarding my construction industry, I used to call him, sir. Even though we are actually. There is one client which is common to both of us.
Okay.
So we are competitors, but still, I have a mentor. I do consult with him, and he is mentoring me continuously. And similarly, in my restaurant industry, there is one person whose name is Ram. He is actually running a huge veg restaurant in Tirunelveli, and a lot of people are there for me to mentor. Even at this level, with 25 years of experience, still I have a mentor in place. So guidance is very much necessary for you, especially in crisis time. You need to have your mentor. You need to talk to your mentor, talk to them openly, talk to them honestly. I said integrity is very, very important. Talk to them that I don't know this one. I don't know how to calculate my P&L. I don't know what net profit is. I don't know how to calculate a gross profit. What is the difference between liability and asset? Guna, The main reason why a lot of business fail is because of absence of sales. And the second main reason is mismanagement of funds. Lots and lots and lots of people, they don't look into their P&L, they don't look into their balance sheet, don't look into their trial balance. If you want to become a successful business entrepreneurs, you have to know the numbers. You have to know the numbers. Read the books of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, or read about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett was a great mathematician since the day he was selling newspapers. He was selling newspapers, but he was a great mathematician. So he used to know the numbers, right? Similarly, Robert Kiyosaki. It is a financial education that we need to have, especially as an entrepreneur. You need to know the debits and credits, right? So you need to have a mentor for this. And then the H stands for, I love this, you know. So all those successful people, do you think that they went up the ladder by fluke? No, never. No, never. It wasn't fluke. It was hard work. It was hard work. So you take the likes of all those Bill Gates or maybe Tim Cook or Steve Jobs. They are all hard workers. Even to this date, they work hard. Even to this date, Warren Buffett, he reads close to about 15 newspapers a day. Even to this date, Bill Gates reads 7 books a week, a book a day. He carries the books himself. There is a interesting documentary about Bill Gates in Netflix. Go and watch that. What how he is spending time to read the books, right? So you need to work hard day in and day out to get to the level of a successful entrepreneur. And remember, so success is always a journey. It's not a destination, right? So if it had been a destination, then Bill Gates would have retired. Warren Buffett would have retired. Anyone of the likes of these people would have retired. But an entrepreneur never retires. He always thinks, what next, what next, what next. The goalpost actually changes every now and then. The milestone actually changes every now and then. And the last one, T stands for your team. Team stands for your team. Without your team, you cannot succeed. Without my team, I am nothing. I am nothing. Team in the sense that is your business team, and as well as your family, your relationship, your friends, everyone, right? Your teachers, your coaches, your trainers, everyone is in your team. So when I say my team, it is not only my managers, it is not only my employees and all these people. It is your wife, it is your parents, father, mother, your kids. Everyone is in your team. So don't uh, don't misunderstand your team. Don't miscalculate your team. So they are your strength. They are your strength. So RIGST, be result oriented.
It was like
Yeah, be integral. Yeah.
training for the last 5 minutes. Like, thank you very much for that. So those who are watching this, please remember results, integrity, guidance, hard work, and team. Correct. Yes, sir. So
Correct. Correct.
the 5 points which you need to remember. Then he has given. I asked for one tip or two tips. He has given so many tips. Can you, if you want, please share something else, sir? I thought I interrupted you.
No, I just wanted to summarize. You did the summarize. Okay. You did. Yeah. I wanted to summarize, right?
Super, super. So, so before we close, I think you already shared a lot of things, but to give more to my community who are watching, I will always be exploring things. So, is there one specific thing which you want to share to all the aspiring entrepreneurs before we close this interview?
One thing, yeah, definitely. I will definitely do it. So one thing that you have to develop, you forget all those things that I have talked for the past 40, 45 minutes. Just remember one thing, the word grit, Grit, grit. Go and Google the word grit, right? Never ever give up. At any situation, you shouldn't give up, right? So this is the word which actually I have engraved myself. I have engraved this particular word in my brain, in my heart, in every parts of my body. Never ever give up. So I have seen plenty of failures. I have seen plenty of betrayals, plenty of mistrust, plenty of money going on waste. But I never lost hope. I never lost faith. I never actually I never let loose the grip. I always tightened the grip. I had the grit. I always had never say die, that kind of an attitude. So there is a famous saying, right? Tough situations don't go. There is some kind of a saying. So I'm not able to get the correct sentence. Tough situations don't. Uh, but tough people do. It closes like that. Um, so be the toughest person that you can be the toughest person, right? Toughest person in the sense, so you shouldn't ever give up on your goals. You shouldn't ever give up on your team, give up on your family, give up on trying as well. So always have the grit, right? So that is one thing that I would always encourage, especially during this time where people's morale is very, very low. So people may think that, okay, what is going to happen in the next few months or so? Nothing is going to happen. Everything is going to be good, because we cannot change this particular situation, what is going on right now, but actually we can change the situation. What can happen after this? Definitely we can change. For that, we have to prepare now. To prepare for that, you need to have the grit. Never say die. Never ever give up.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we've had so much of lessons from your 25 years experience today. Thank you very much for sharing, and thank you very much for joining us for this episode of Startup Stories and sharing all these things.
Thank you so much, Guna, and thank you for inviting me for your this Startup Stories episode. And I wish you all the best for your second book as well. And for those who are all watching this particular episode, Mr. Guna has written a book, Startup Recipe, wonderful book. So kindly go and buy it in Amazon or in any bookstore that is nearer to you, if the shops are open. Please maintain safety. Please maintain social distancing. Right. Wish you all the best, Guna, for your future endeavors. And thank you so much, viewers, for watching. So I do run a YouTube channel. You can
I
watch
want to
me.
ask about it. So people want to, if they want to follow you, because I know you're also sharing a lot of good lessons via various videos. Sometimes you read a book and you share about a book, what you learned about that book, etc. So if people want to follow you, they can follow on YouTube. But in YouTube, what name they should search for?
You search my name, Mohammed Riaz,
Mohammed
Mohame.
Riaz is what you have to search for, and you can
Yeah,
follow. Sharing a lot of
Mohame.
things. If you want to learn a lot and just free videos, he's sharing a lot of information which will be helpful for aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs as well. So thank you very much for doing that. Also, I've also seen a few videos. I've learned from your videos also. So thank you very much for this show again. So dear viewers, thank you very much for watching this episode of Startup Story series. I will be back with one more entrepreneur with one more successful journey to inspire you so that you can learn and start your own business. So share this video with so many people as much as possible so that they also learn on how to start an entrepreneurship journey and how to become successful. Thank you. See you in my next interview of Startup Stories. Thank you.